I'm joined now by the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Mark Rutte. Mr. Prime Minister, I appreciate you taking the time to be with us. The Netherlands has done an extraordinary job of welcoming the first victims of this crash back with dignity and with honor and with respect. You have said that something fundamental changed last Thursday when this plane was shot down. What has changed?
Well, as you can understand, we are a nation in mourning. The loss of 194 of my countrymen, in total 298 in the plane, has been an earth-breaking and shattering experience for the whole country. And it was extremely important yesterday as a nation to come together, to stand shoulder by shoulder, and to try to assess and give a place to everything which happened since last Thursday.
The beauty of what you did yesterday and today was in stark contrast, obviously, to the horror that we witnessed in eastern Ukraine, not just in the downing of this plane, but in the treatment of your citizens and citizens from all around the world for the last several days. There may be as many as 100 people still left at the crash site. I spoke to an OSCE monitor today who was at the crash site today with some Malaysians and Australian investigators. He found human remains. It appears no one right now is doing anything systematically to find all the victims still laying out there and to bring them back 1 week since the crash. Is this acceptable to you?
No, that is why we will increase our effort to bring home all the victims of this disaster. We will send into the crash site a large number of people from the Netherlands, experts, forensic experts, people from the police who are trained to deal with this type of work and these issues. They will start tomorrow. And we will have in total around 50 people working there from Sunday onwards.
Because as of now, your investigators have been stuck in Kiev. They haven't been given access to the site. So are you now saying that tomorrow, starting tomorrow, you absolutely will have access to the site?
We have been at the crash site. The last 2 days we have concentrated our efforts in Kharkov, from where the planes left, flying into the Netherlands with the first 40 coffins yesterday and 74 coffins today. So we had to put priority there. From tomorrow onwards, we will again rebuild our capacity in the field at the crash site to recover the remaining remains and as much as possible their personal belongings.
Would the Netherlands be willing to send a military force either on their own or with Australia or with other nations to try to secure the crash site? Is that going to be necessary, and would you support that?
Well, we are currently following a two-track approach. First of all, as I said, we will increase our effort at the crash site within the current context, within the current parameters. We will also look into various options we see which would help to make the place a bit more secure, a bit safer to do the job which is needed to be done. We will study this in the next 24 to 48 hours and come up with conclusions as soon as possible. But we won't wait for that, and that's why we will increase our efforts from tomorrow onwards.
On Saturday, you said that Russia's President Vladimir Putin must act to allow access to the crash site. Do you believe he has done all he can?
I've been on the phone now for 6 times. It's almost difficult to assess why things have been moving a bit further and a bit more swiftly than at the start of the crash investigation and the recovery of the victims. It started awfully slow. The pictures were heartbreaking for the relatives and families and for the whole nation, for the whole country. To see the people laying there The bodies laying there in the field at 35 degrees Celsius, unbearable. Luckily, since Monday night, the train, which is carrying 203 body bags, has been moving into Ukrainian-held territory. And that's where we were able to start the airlift yesterday. But still, as you said, I'm not sure there are 100 bodies there. We don't know. 203 body bags doesn't mean we have 203 people back home. It might be more, it might be less. But it is absolutely sure, we are absolutely convinced there are still remains which we want to recover, which we want to bring back to the Netherlands.
The question, though, is, in your opinion, has Vladimir Putin done enough? Many in your country, as you know, want you to take a tougher stand against Russia. They are your third largest trading partner. Has Vladimir Putin done enough to grant access to the site? And what exactly do you want to see in terms of sanctions? What would you support?
The Netherlands is supporting sanctions. We have always, in the European Union, pleaded for sanctions because we feel and we believe that arming the separatists is the wrong policy, is helping to destabilize the region. The Ukraine is a sovereign country, and the integrity of the Ukraine is of the paramount interest. So that's why we have been pushing for sanctions always. And we have always been instrumental in the European Union to come to a common decision. As you know, it is not one country, Europe. We have 28 member states. So it takes sometimes a bit more time to get to an agreement. But once we get there, we are very firm in the implementation.
I'm joined now by the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Mark Rutte. Mr. Prime Minister, I appreciate you taking the time to be with us. The Netherlands has done an extraordinary job of welcoming the first victims of this crash back with dignity and with honor and with respect. You have said that something fundamental changed last Thursday when this plane was shot down. What has changed?
Well, as you can understand, we are a nation in mourning. The loss of 194 of my countrymen, in total 298 in the plane, has been an earth-breaking and shattering experience for the whole country. And it was extremely important yesterday as a nation to come together, to stand shoulder by shoulder, and to try to assess and give a place to everything which happened since last Thursday.
The beauty of what you did yesterday and today was in stark contrast, obviously, to the horror that we witnessed in eastern Ukraine, not just in the downing of this plane, but in the treatment of your citizens and citizens from all